Day 9 of our adventures around Scotland by public transport, and here we are in the Orkneys. From the ferry on the way into Stromness, we saw the Old Man of Hoy. We loved the streets in Stromness, they were all paved, but you did have to be careful because the cars used the streets as well as the people.
Stepping off the ferry was like the adventure starting all over again. This time we got it right. The studio in Stromness was right on the main street with a door opening in from the street, saying look left and right for oncoming traffic. Luckily, there isn't too much traffic. We had contact to find the key as we weren't sure, but received text directions and it was where it should be. The flat looked very neat and old worldly. It was an open invitation to sit down and relax, but we were still hyped up for adventure. We were almost straight out exploring and within a couple of hours had found a shop for vitals and a pub to call our local. One thing that stood out about the Orkneys in the press was the discovery of Skara Brae. So in the evening we planned our visit to Skara Brae, making sure it was feasible.
After breakfast, we went to the bus station to catch the 11:05 bus to Skara Brae. The day return ticket cost £4.50.
Against Kay's better judgment, I decided not to take a coat. And looking through the window on the bus, I was beginning to think she was right. But fortunately, as the bus pulled up outside Skara Brae, the clouds cleared and the sun came out. Lucky me.
The visitors centre of the prehistoric village had lots of interactive displays. It really helped get a feel of the people and to think about what life would have been like in the village. There was also a replica of a Neolithic house, so we could see how it might have looked.
Moving around Skara Brae using the designated paths was fascinating. With the Bay of Skaill as a backdrop, you really felt you were moving back through history. We were so lucky it was uncovered by a storm in December 1850 and is the best example of its time. Leading on from Skara Brae, we visited Skaill House, the former home of the 12th Laird of Brecness. He handed over his house to his daughter in 2023, but no one actually lives there anymore. But it has been opened to the public since 1997.
We caught the bus back and found we still had time to explore more of the surrounding area. Stromness Harbour was sparkling and shimmering in the sunlight. I wanted to do a walk that would take us round the coast and something called the Guardhouse Park, but we found a lot of points of interest on the way, which delayed us.
We came across the Khyber Pass, but in this instance, we decided not to carry on up the Khyber, but to bypass it. We discovered the museum and slipped in just before closing, unlike the couple turned away just after us. Inside, it was full of history, with a fine bird collection that was especially interesting for Kay, whose husband was a birder. After being ushered out at closing, we walked up the high street from the harbour. We came across a Christmas village, which was particularly poignant because we do that sort of thing at home anyway. As we moved up the main road, there were people plunging into the sea and then coming out and using a converted horse box as a sauna. Soon the rain set in and we headed back to our studio flat.
The rain was so bleak and dreary and miserable that I didn't achieve my walk around the coast and we had to turn back. Luckily, the rain passed quickly and we were soon dry, and the views yet again became spectacular.
That night, we booked into the Ferry Inn restaurant. We had to book in advance because the previous night it was full. We went for dinner, and when I got there, I noticed they had a very old 25-year-old whisky, single malt. It was worth the £22 for a tot.
Day 11, and our time on the Orkneys had finished. It's time to head off to the ferry to go to Thurso. We knew that time was tight. and that the ferry was due in at 12:30 and the train was expected to leave at 1 from Thurso. We knew that only gave us half an hour to get from Scrabster to Thurso, so we pre-booked a taxi. I was amazed at how luxurious the ferry was. It even had a dog lounge.
After a rough crossing and a late arrival by the ferry, when we docked, we were already too late for the train. The taxi was there waiting as requested, so once inside, we announced to the taxi driver, "It's okay, mate, we're already missed the train," which he already knew. At this, he said we could store our baggage at his shop near the station, while we passed our time in Thurso. The next train was 3.5 hours away, so we took a leisurely look around Thurso before having lunch at the Pentland Hotel. Then we ambled over to pick up our bags from his shop on the way to the station, heading for Nairn.
We waited for the train to Nairn, and I couldn't help lamenting that we wouldn't have enough time to truly explore the town. The journey itself passed quickly, with plenty to see along the way. One detail that caught my eye was at Invergordon station, a striking mural of a soldier.
And so to Nairn, where we were staying at the bandstand named after, guess where?